A strange-looking design, but iconic nonetheless, the French bullpup rifle, the FAMAS, is a quintessential Cold War weapon. Serving the French military for half a century, it's seen combat across the globe, its effectiveness and lethality leaving no question about its place in firearms history. Affectionately known as the Bulge by French troops due to its distinctive shape, the FAMAS was the weapon of choice by the French throughout the late 20th and early 21st centuries to replace their aging arsenal. With a weight of almost 8 pounds and a length of just 30 inches, it fires up to 1100 rounds of 5.56 by 45mm NATO per minute. Coupled with an effective range of 300 meters and a muzzle velocity of 930 meters per second, the FAMAS puts lead on target at a consistent and terrifying rate. The FAMAS's origins begin in the 1950s, with the French military experimenting with bullpup rifle designs and different bullet calibers. Between 1952 and 1962, as many as 40 prototype weapons using the 7.62 by 51mm NATO round were developed, one being the FAMAS Type 62, but the American adoption of the M16 rifle using the 5.56 by 45mm NATO round caused the French to reconsider. They embraced the idea of using a 5.56 chambered rifle, but many in the French High Command were unsatisfied with the rifles available, primarily the German HKG-3 and later HK-33, and were against the idea of using a foreign rifle, thus tasking French engineers with creating their own 5.56 weapon. Development began in 1967 under the direction of arms designer Paul Telly to create a new rifle that could replace the MAS 1949 rifle, MAT 49 submachine gun, and MAC M1924 light machine gun. By 1971, the first prototype was ready, named the Fusil d'Assaut de la Manufacture d'Armes de Saint-Étienne, or FAMAS for short, with trials beginning the next year. It utilizes a lever-delayed blowback design, first successfully used on the French AA-52 machine gun that, unlike piston or direct impingement, uses the rearward force from the cartridge case to operate the bolt. Its fire selector is also of note, the rifle being able to fire in semi-auto and fully automatic, with the safety physically blocking access to the trigger, and a secondary selector under the buttstock allows for the rifle to change its fully automatic fire option to a 3-round burst. Furthermore, the rifle's flash hider allows for the use of rifle grenades, while also being compatible with bayonets and underbarrel grenade launchers. Eventually, after several prototypes and progressive variants, it was adopted by the French as the FAMAS F1 in 1978, replacing the Swiss SIG SG540 being used as a temporary service rifle. This design was not without flaw, with various plastic pieces of the rifle being prone to breaking, and due to the limited budget of the French military at the time, the planned disposable magazines were being reused, leading to jams and malfunctions, but otherwise the FAMAS was reliable and trustworthy in combat conditions. Over its lifetime, several variants of the FAMAS have been designed. The FAMAS G1 was conceived as an improvement on the F1 design, redesigning the grips and enlarging the trigger guard for use with gloves, but remained conceptual and was never actually produced. The G2 would be produced in 1994 to comply with NATO standards, with the rifle being compatible with NATO Stanag magazines, the barrel rifling is tighter, the G1 trigger guard was implemented, and the plastic handguards were replaced with sturdier, reinforced fiberglass handguards. This variant would be adopted by the French Navy, but rejected by the Army, preferring to maintain the F1 as their service rifle. The FAMAS Integrated Infantryman Equipment and Communications, or FILIN variant, was developed in 2010 to be combined with the French FILIN Infantry Combat System, which combines various modern electronics and equipment for infantry soldiers. This variant is compatible with the FILIN system electronics, features a vertical front grip with which the FILIN system is operated via several buttons, has an improved bipod, and the carrying handle with the integrated sight was replaced with a lower profile Picatinny rail mount for various scopes. The final FAMAS variant is the FAMAS Valoris, which is essentially the same as the FILIN variant, save for the vertical foregrip and FILIN system compatibility. In 2014, the upgrade work on the FAMAS was cancelled in favour of a new rifle, the HK416F, which began phasing out the FAMAS in 2017. The FAMAS, in all its renditions, has seen combat globally for decades, primarily in the Middle East and Africa. While production has ceased and it was replaced by the HK416F for the French, it still finds use in the hands of several nations' armed forces, such as Brazil, Iraq, and Lebanon. It may have looked odd, and wasn't a major breakthrough in firearms design, but the FAMAS served well, and once again proved the viability of bullpup rifles.